Hi, my name's Colton Cowser, outfitter for the Baltimore Orioles, and you're listening to Griffin Bass, Stan and Fan Charles on the Baseball Show. Let's keep it moving along.
Thank you, Colton. Thank you. Stan the Fan, Griffin Bass, and our special guest in studio today, Luke Jackson. We've got a little bit of a change. A curveball was thrown our way. We attempted to get Todd Callis on of the Houston Astros broadcasting team, and he got back to us now that he's going to be able to join us in about 15 minutes. So we'll talk a little O's, and then we'll get into
The
this
Astros.
weekend. We'll get into the Astros, and then a little this week in the rest of baseball. Luke, I asked you before Evan Drellich interrupted us whether you were excited or interested about the O's. What do you think their realistic chances are to make a run at the playoffs?
Well, I think their chances took a little bit of a hit when Blaze Alexander broke his hand 30 minutes before the break. That's we were talking about this on our show. It's sort of emblematic of how the last couple calendar years have gone. IAS, it's always something.
Yeah,
very much so. So can they make a run? I think because of the state of their rotation, I think they have a chance to make a run ahead of the deadline, because not only that, but they're playing teams that are ahead of them in the wild card hunt. So they've got a chance to make up some ground. As you've mentioned, one of the real problems that they have is not only have they not played great this year, but they've got so many teams that they have to jump. But because of their rotation, they've gotten competitive starts pretty much every night for the past 4, 5, 6 weeks outside of the Trey Gibson starts, and he's not in the rotation anymore. So
right.
I think that gives you some hope. A couple other things that would give you some hope is that I do think that they should hit better than they have rest of season compared to the season up to this point. And then the other thing is that they've not been very fortunate in close games. What are they, like 7-14 in one-run games? So if that stabilizes, I think they've got a chance to maybe make a little bit of a run.
So we're
those are the positives.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away from the trade deadline. So if you're Mike Elias, forget who we're shopping or who we'd be willing to give up. What are you, if he wants to buy, what is he trying to buy? Does he want one more starter, or is that too many right now at this point in the season? Or should he be looking for somebody that can pick up some innings if there is another injury?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, you look at what kind of ammo do they have in the minor league system to get what they would need. And I would guess that because
got Vance Honeycutt.
There you go. It's a middling farm system, but everyone's got the ammo to get rentals. As you might not have the ammo you want to get controllable pieces.
Yeah.
But everyone's got the ammo to get rentals. And so would you look for another piece for the rotation? Would you, at this point, look for someone who could play third base? Would you look for
a utility infielder?
Yeah, who can sort of make up for what Blaze provided versatility-wise? And do you want a couple power arms for the bullpen? Again, more rental pieces. I think that they would have the piece. The other thing is that they do have a number of prospects who are going to be Rule 5 eligible, and they're going to have to make decisions on those guys at some point ahead of the Rule 5 draft. And what some teams will do is that they'll package them at the trade deadline so they don't have to worry about them ahead of the Rule 5 draft, but they get something for them. So they have a number of those guys. They got like 7 or 8 guys that they'll have to make decisions on, 40-man roster decisions at some point, and they might want to package those guys in deals right now for big league help. So, but
that's a good point.
But a lot of this can change in the next 2 weeks. Like I said, it's a 2-week sprint to the deadline, Griffin, and we could be having a much different conversation a couple weeks from now than we are right now, because we're looking at it right now. I think it's irresponsible. It would be irresponsible to sell when you're only 2 games out, even if you don't think they're any good.
What if this is exactly where they're at? They're still 2 games out. They're still 3-4 games under 500.
I think they would buy.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I think
if
they're fine.
Detroit and Boston and Seattle and those they come out guns a blazing out of the break here and
And you fall
suddenly
behind,
they-
and then
yeah.
suddenly you're like 5 or 6 out, then you
Yeah.
would sell.
Okay.
And so I think it really does sort of come down to
what
How
everybody
you
else
play the
is-
next 10 days? or
yeah.
so.
I mean, it's wild, but this is where small sample sizes really matter, and it could be a bit of a different picture that we're looking at right now if they were better in those close games. If they're 14-7 in one-run games rather than 7-14, this is a wildly different conversation that we're having.
They've got 12 games between, the next 14 days. They've got 3 in Houston, 3 in Boston.
Mhm.
They come home versus Atlanta,
Mhm.
then 3 in Detroit.
Oh, boy.
Those 12 games should probably decide
Yeah.
whether you're a buyer
Yeah.
or a seller.
And 3 of those series are against teams that you're directly competing against for a wild card spot.
So let me ask my $64,000 question, and that is the Trevor Rogers question. You know how I've written about it 3 or 4 times. I think they made a big mistake not being aggressive at the end of last year, trying to lock him up for 3 or 4 years. Now, his agent might have wanted 6 years. I don't know. I don't get the sense they've discussed it with him much. Are you interested in trading him if you are selling?
Well, I think, first thing you would have to determine is whether you would give him a qualifying offer. And if you are, and you do want to sell him at that point,
Yeah.
what you get back has to be better than the comp pick you would get if you were to tender him a qualifying offer and he signs elsewhere. So that it would have to be a better package than the number 30-something overall pick.
I'm assuming he's got terrific value.
At least as a rental.
Yeah.
As someone who has pitched pretty well for the past 6 weeks, very well for the past 6 weeks, as a matter of fact. And obviously around the illness that he had the first few starts before that, and then the last few starts after that.
Yeah.
the giving up a lot of runs bug.
Yes, yes, that one. Like, since getting over that, he's been great, and his velocity's back. And with Trevor, it's really about, like, is he 94-95 or is he 89-91? Like, those are 2 totally different pitchers. But anyway, if he still shows in these next few starts ahead of the deadline that he's that 94-95 guy, he'd be a pretty valuable piece for
but he'd be a pretty valuable piece for us.
Yeah, but
moving forward.
but I mean, you could.
But why haven't they?
potentially-
I know, why haven't they been able to lock him down then?
But you could potentially trade him and then say, "Hey, we're going to go after you in the offseason." You could do that. Like,
Right.
that's possible. There's no rule against that.
Yeah.
So
Because he says he'd like to be here.
yeah,
The problem you have is then he's pitching for the Atlanta Braves for 2 months.
and he
they
loves
wanna-
pitching
and,
for the
and
Atlanta
they
Braves.
love him, and all of a sudden you're out, and you're back hunting for skirt.
No, that part you're absolutely right about. That if
Scrounging.
if you let go of Trevor Rogers and don't re-sign him, then
Yeah.
you're probably looking for a left-handed starter just like Trevor Rogers.
Right,
And
exactly.
so, like,
And you've already given up Kyle Stowers. for him.
correct. And I look at what left-handed starters have gotten in the free agency the past number of years. Like, what Kikuchi got, like 354, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And then Sean Manaea got like 375. Would
Right.
it be in that area, or would it be more like?
probably think so, right?
I
Or
think
would it be
he's-
more like
I
a
think
4 or
he's
5 year
between
deal?
that.
I think he's a 4-year deal with an option.
So, like, for me, that for me would
I
be
think
like
he's close
480.
to it. I think he's like an $85 million
So
guy.
485.
Yeah.
Is it possible they could get a deal like that, an extension done in the next 2 weeks, or no? Is that just
If
kind of
they
out the
offered
window?
him 4 years, $85 million, do you think he would take it right now?
So it'd be 21, 22 a year, or something about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would take it.
What's the qualifying offer is going to be
Qualifying
about?
offer is
I think it's got-
22.
22.
And I think
23.
it's got to have an option in it. That's sort of a
How old is he?
mutual
So-
option with a buyout of like $10 million.
So what
So
what Griffin just suggested was basically the qualifying offer times 4.
Right.
Yeah.
He's 28 now.
So
So you
So
have
that
him for your
qualifying
29,
offer
30,
would
and
be
31 season.
90.
If it's 22, yeah.
And I'm suggesting that there's 10 million there or 7.5 million at the end, which ups the average that he's guaranteed to get whether he's here or not.
And that goes back to the point, I guess, like, do they really believe in him?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Because if they did, they probably should have been aggressive locking him up last year.
Right.
Which they weren't.
They clearly weren't.
Yeah,
aggressive.
and so I don't know if they really believed in what they were seeing last year. And like you had
And,
said,
I think it's realistic not to have believed that guy was going to be, but
I
what
didn't
he is
believe the
to-
6.5 ERA guy
I didn't
either.
believe it
Yeah.
either. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
didn't believe it either. Yeah. Okay. Did we hear from
What about
Todd? Did
yeah,
we hear
yeah, yeah,
from-
we'll talk to Todd in 5 minutes.
Okay.
What about Adley if they tank here in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I would be open to discussing him.
Is it
because
critical that they deal him now?
It's tricky to deal catchers at the deadline because teams like to onboard catchers in spring training with that 6-week run up to
Right,
the
know-
season.
to know
So
the
yeah,
pitching
to get to
staff.
know the pitching staff and all that good stuff.
Would you trade him to the New York Yankees?
It depends what I'm getting back.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger.
There you go.
No, if I'm
Add
getting
some left-handed pop. There
Yeah,
if
you
I'm
go.
getting Carlos Lagrange and something, like two arms,
Maybe
and a-
$200 million in spending.
And I do think that Adley would be a very valuable commodity on the trade market. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to find catchers
Yeah.
or plus defenders and hit in like the high 700 OPSs.
The,
Like, I mean-
the interesting team to me, because of who the executive is the Giants. Even though they're not buying for this year, you remember I wrote last year that I thought the Orioles should trade for Dustin May at the deadline. Not that he was going to help them last year; he was going to help them next year. The Giants are kind of they're in a woeful position right now, and I got to believe Posey is a big Rutschman fan. That's just-
Probably
yeah.
is. It probably is. I think Adley is defending this year better than he ever has. I think he's throwing better than he ever has. And his defensive metrics back it up. I mean, guy's been one of like the 5 or 6 most valuable catchers in baseball this year. You wouldn't know it, but he has. And now on the flip side, though, if you are looking to extend him, like what is he looking for? Like Ken Rosenthal wrote a piece saying that at this point, if the Orioles want to sign Adley, and Mike Elias indicated that they do, that it would take like an 8-year deal
What
to
Cal
make
Raleigh
him
get?
Cal Raleigh got 6,105 with 2 years before free agency. And like, are you
6 is my max?
yeah, it's like,
Is my-
are
I-
you interested in seeing like what Adley looks like at age 33, 34, 35?
Not really.
I'm not.
No.
I mean, like, what's like if he's JT Realmuto? Like, is that
Is
are
that
we happy
fine?
with that? Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know. This year's Realmuto's not having a good year. He was. What did he do last year? He was.
They didn't have a good year either, but the Phillies
Yeah.
re-signed him because they didn't have any other options at catcher.
Yeah.
They gave him a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
They had nobody else to catch.
Yeah.
It's hard to find catching.
Yeah.
And like,
I
the
mean, well,
Orioles
can
have-
he keep this up? If he can keep this up defensively,
Right. I
then-
mean, the
then
Orioles,
yeah, I think
the
you do
Orioles
sign
having
up for
two
it, right?
catchers who can really hit should be a massive advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't looked like it this year, but should be a massive advantage.
All right, we're talking with Luke Jackson, and Griffin Bass is here with me, Stan the Fan. We've got Todd Callis coming up momentarily. He's one of the voices of the Houston Astros broadcast team. They were red hot.
one more for Luke.
Yeah.
What if they are right in the thick of it in 2 weeks? And what do you do with Taylor Ward?
Oh, I guess you hold on to him and hope he has a big final 2 months and then you can give him a qualifying offer. I haven't been a huge fan of what I've seen. I joke around with Stan.
I was
that he-
early, but
I joke around with Stan that he seems like a little bit of a low energy ball player. Like I don't know if I've seen him emote
If there's a
once.
market for him, even if they're in it, do you trade him anyway? Or
No, I mean,
No,
but
you
well,
hold
you
him.
do
Okay.
need like if he
if we're in it, he's not going to go anywhere.
Right,
But,
right.
you know.
Right, and I would think that at that point, if you're in it, that you hope that he has a big final 2 months to help you out in that regard, and then also you give him a qualifying offer if he has a big final couple months. I don't think you would give him a qualifying offer right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you would. They certainly, I think, acquired him with the idea that they would do that.
do you know what his QO would look like? Or
You
For
mean a
Ward.
deal extending him?
for a qualifying offer for Ward?
Oh,
How
it'd
much?
be like
Well, it'd be
22, same thing.
22,
Yeah.
$23 million. But,
And maybe he would take that. I don't know.
I think he would take that because I don't think he's getting that on the market.
That would be the most that he would ever make in a season.
Yeah, no question about it. No
So.
question about it.